This time we're in right now is like so crazy. So crazy, right? Like we can't even imagine. Each day is different. Everything is like super crazy. That's not what we're going to talk about today, but I just had to put it out there because it's crazy. But I am excited because I have a show for you today that I really hope is helpful to you. Of course, May is National Mental Health Day or Mental Health Month, and I really wanted to bring in the topic of mindset and mindset from just your personal life or your business. It's really important, especially now, to stay in a positive mindset. And that is why I wanted to bring on my guest today. My name is Amy Iram. I'm the founder of Capitalize Social Media, and I help life and business coaches gain visibility and increase impact using organic Facebook and marketing tactics that work. And my guest today, she is the Enlightened Entrepreneur, and you will see very easily that she is very lightened. She is lightened up entrepreneur, actually, I should say. She is just a joy. I met her at Social Media Marketing World, and I remember seeing her. She was part of the Vibe crew, getting everyone pumped up, and she just always has a big smile on her face, and she was holding up a sign just to make everyone smile and get excited, and that is one of my greatest memories of her at Social Media Marketing World this past year, and that is why I wanted to bring her on to share her joy with you and really to, as she helps her clients, maybe help you think about how you can reconnect back to the joy of starting your business or just joy in general, right? You don't have to be an entrepreneur to have felt, obviously the weight of the situation that we're in right now. Everybody is feeling it. And it's really important. I feel this way. And like I said, I know Nancy does, that we really strive on having a positive mindset in all aspects of our life and our business. So I can't wait to share her with you. So I'm going to bring her on right now. Yay! So glad that you're here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here.
You're just such a joy and such a positive energy. We're just like two peas in a pod here.
I know.
There's crazy stuff going on in the world, and it's just nice to be able to connect with you, just kind of take a little bit of a break from this whole thing and just talk about why we start our business to begin with, and just reconnect back to that joy, right? I know that there's stories you have to share and just tips for us that we can take away from the situation and implement into our lives to make it more joyful right now. And I can't wait to hear that from you. But I can give you a little bit of introduction about how we met. So why don't you go ahead and share some more about you and how you started your business and all that good stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's like, this is the open, like, what do I do? What do I say? Oh my goodness. So I'm really excited to be here with you, Amy. Thank you for asking me. And thank you for such a build up. And I am a thief. I did actually steal the sign
That's awesome.
Social Media Marketing World because it was too much fun. Like, I got to take this home with me. So yeah, I've had it for 2 years now, but it's part of what I do. It's part of, it's really hard to be in a bad mood. It's hard to get focused on negative things when you have a smile on your face. It's just one of those things. It just doesn't happen. So that's why I try to remind myself to smile. So I am, you want me to go all the way from the beginning, like back in the beginning of time when I started my business. So as I called myself the Lightened Up Entrepreneur because it came to my realization that a lot of people in business, whether it's they're a weekendpreneur or they're a full-time, full-fledged entrepreneur, right, end up getting bogged down in the details of business and all the stuff that you got excited about doing your business for all starts to get buried with all the things that have to get done, and they got to get done. I mean, without a doubt. So kind of came to me that, boy, I guess everybody doesn't have these little devices set up to connect to your joy. And it goes, like you said, it's not just about business owners, right? Like everybody, mental health month, especially, right? We all need to find some way to like stay connected to what makes us feel light and joyful, because it can get heavy if you don't. And it's not to say that what's going on out there isn't real or that your feelings aren't real. It's just, if we don't find a way to tap into the joy, whether it's in our business or in our personal life, it can really spin out of control and get really, really heavy. So that's why I even started it in the first place. See, I can go on, Amy, if you let me.
I can go on too. I mean, this is a topic I'm very passionate about as well. Oh, Jerry Ann's here. Yay, Jerry Ann. Hi. Yeah, we are. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, it's, you know, it's, you can go two ways with it, and it's all about how you frame your mindset, right? You can think of something and you can think, oh gosh, this is terrible, this is awful, and then like all these kind of bad things come to mind. Or you can think about it as, okay, this is tough, but let me think about it in a different way, and then let's think about a positive from that, and then let's look at something else good, and then it's like an upward spiral, right? So it can, you can put your, that's the cool thing about, you know, our brain and just, you know, psychology in general. Like we can convince ourselves that, you know, that things are good or that they're not good, and we have the power to be able to do that.
And you can find good things in everything, honestly. I mean, if you really sit and look at it, right, it's not to say that, like, sometimes I think that whole phrase of make lemonade out of lemons, you know, if you've been given lemons, make a lemonade. I used to think that was just, it's an overused phrase, and it sounds so contrite to say that, you know, what you were given was lemons. But seriously, even when the shadazzle hits the fan, there's something in there you can be like, all right, so what can I make of this? What can I do with what I've been given here? You know, whatever, like, it's almost like, it's like those chef shows, right? Those crazy chef shows. It's like, okay, there's nothing in your fridge. I talked about this morning. There's nothing in your fridge except peanut butter, broccoli, and a box of crackers. What are you going to do? Like, I don't know. I hate all three. I'm going to sit here and starve. Or you could be like, well, I don't know. Maybe I can make something of this. And you start to put things together, right? There's nothing good about liver. All right. So maybe take liver out of the equation for Jerry Ann.
But you bought liver to begin with because that's what's in your refrigerator. So there had to been some reason that was in your refrigerator, right? But that's not to discount the fact that, you know, we talk about, you know, wanting to stay positive on all the time. And like, it started the show saying like, this is crazy. This is all crazy right now. And it is. And it's not all good. Like, we're not saying that like we're positive because we're ignoring that there's all this terrible things going on. That's not what we're saying. Like, we're acknowledging the fact that we're in a very difficult time right now, and there's a lot of people, and there continues to be a lot of people in difficult times across the board, with unemployment, with, you know, homelessness, with sickness, and all these, there's terrible things. And we're not discounting that at all. We're saying is that we acknowledge that, and we just hope the best for this whole situation. But for what we can control, like, all we can control is ourselves, right? And our mindset, and what we can, and that is, you know, keeping ourselves going in a positive way. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, that's totally in your control. And that is the one thing that you can do. We have no control over disease, weather, things that are just so beyond us. But you're right. But our actions are totally, we own those. And sometimes we've been given and dealt something that isn't the best thing. Like, we've been given broccoli and peanut butter and liver, and somebody says, all right, what are you going to make of this? Well, and there is something you can find good in it, even in the midst of what we're dealing with right now with this. Oh my gosh, and it's Taco Tuesday and everything, whatever.
And Cinco de Mayo. I didn't even mention that. I'm not weird. I forget.
In the time of Corona, it's like, what? How does this all fit together? But, you know, even in these times, if we dig down and look at what we have, there's sadness. Yeah, I mean, you went through all of the things that are real, but also real are these other things that connections that we have forgotten to make because we just got busy with the things that we do in our life. We don't realize how much of a global impact we can make, or a broader impact we can make by just using the internet in the tools that we had right in front of us. And people were like demonizing it, you know, 6-8 months ago. It's evil. The Facebook is evil, or whatever they say. They're like, but I never experienced evil in where I'm at on social media, right? I never experienced it because I don't feed it. I don't feed the evil things, right? And they will come around. I mean, you can have a stalker online that's just a hassle, but what I'm saying in general, right, what you put out is, if you continue to put out good things, it goes further. More people who are looking for that come forward saying, oh my gosh, you're like a breath of fresh air. You're like, I love seeing the joy. It's just like how I feel about you, Amy. I see that you always have a way of seeing things positively. It doesn't mean you stick your head in the sand and pretend that things aren't messy sometimes. It's just more of a, you know, that you manage to say, okay, well, here we go. this is what I got. What are we going to do with this? Let's make something good of it. And I think that's the big shift in a mindset, is when you can look at those things that occur in your life or occur in your business or, are occurring in the world. When you can look at it and say, all right, what can I do with this that makes it good? And I'm not talking about self-serving either, because that was another thing that kind of came up in all of this. It's like, people, are you self-serving? But how are you serving others? Because ultimately, when we serve others, it ends up making us feel, I don't know, it fills our bank. It really does. It fills our emotional bank to be able to give out to and pour out onto others when we have gifts. And Jerian wants us all to know that she has not ever bought liver, so she would not have that in her special iron shell.
And then she says this.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not a fan either. I can't say that I have had it before.
Oh my gosh, my mother used to eat liver. She used to love liver. Oh my gosh, I remember her making it. Yes. Oh, see, I wanted to be an orphan on those days.
Yeah, right. Oh, Tim's here. Hey, Tim.
Hey, what's up? Yo, Tim. What's going on?
We're talking about liver and onions because
I don't know how.
We just spiraled into that direction. What's your least favorite food, Tim? Share that with us, please. So I love this conversation. This is so fun. But just being positive. And I don't even know, like, I think part of it was like, I don't know how I became so positive, but that's just like how my brain works, luckily. And then it's just, sometimes it's, hardwired, and sometimes you really have to work at it. But I know that I've worked at it over time too. So I think that's part of it. It's definitely something that
I would be lying, totally lying. And it wouldn't be beyond me to lie, because I can stretch truth for a great story. However, in this case, I'm not stretching the truth and I'm not lying. There are times when it's a real stretch to find the positive side of something. I mean, I have been in situations where I'm like, I can't even see my way through this. So I understand that. I get it, that it isn't always like, and that's why I think let's make lemonade out of lemons. It sounds like anytime somebody throws that something at you, you immediately are able to say, oh, this is wonderful. Like, no, it's not. Right.
Yeah.
I've had to really work and tap into some of the tools that I use. And I didn't even know that I use them, actually. To just connect in the joy, because if I didn't, I can spin and spend a lot of time in a space that is, I know when I'm in a good space, I know that that's not a good space. I know where that goes. I know that it just feeds more and more of it. Kind of like when you put out crummy things on social media, you kind of get crummy things back. It's the same thing in the real world. So, but I've been in that place where I've been stuck. And sometimes you need, it's funny because one of the things I do say to my clients is, look, I'm not your therapist. And, I can come alongside you and work with you to help you reconnect to that joy. But if you need professional support, I am not going to pretend that it doesn't exist or that it's simple as just shifting your mindset, because sometimes it is something more, and you do need professional support. But in the general sense, in most of the day-to-day, you can still find a way to find that positivity. It doesn't mean that you're happy-go-lucky all the time. It's just to find that positive space. It's amazing. But like, connect with people like you, right, is one of them. So I just find that when you widen your circle, right, when you widen your circle and allow other people to come into your circle that are similar, who are seeking the same kind of an outcome, right? They're seeking something in the same direction as you, meaning upbeat, or I just want those kinds of people that when they're at the playground, they're running to the next playground equipment kind of a feeling. So when you're running with those kinds of people and you allow them into your circles, those are the people that most often they're not in the same cycle of the mental mindset that you might be in. All right. So it's which says it's not going to be a family member. Right? Because they're way too close to you. And if something's going on in your life, it's probably going on in their life as well, right? So when you have somebody that's like cross out of the family, and you have that circle of people, whether it's a community that you connect with, that just in a mastermind or a small group, or even an online, I don't know, a once a week Zoom with some people that are really help you to sharpen your skills and keep you in that light space. oh my gosh, do it. Find those people, connect with those people. That's big.
It is. It is. I want to hear your success stories next, but first of all, I got to go through these comments because these are funny. Tim, liver and onion, we're talking, came in right in the conversation. We're talking about liver and onions. It's
How
like,
is this joyful?
Talking about, I know, right? Oh, pasta.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Least favorite food is pasta. I had
Good.
pasta last night. Actually, it wasn't real pasta. It was like chickpea pasta, but still.
Chickpea pasta.
Good. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Mindset's a choice, Jerry. And I talk about that all the time. It's definitely a choice. And like we talked about too, it's a skill that you kind of have to brush up, acquire, and really train yourself. And I think just as entrepreneurs, it's something that you have to have. That skill is, if you don't have it, you got to have someone that can help you, because if you get off track, you could lose, a lot of momentum. But being able to just get right back on track from that is going to be propelling you in a
huge
forward direction. Yeah.
Awesome. Like, right?
I don't know if we can be friends anymore, Tim. This pasta thing, this is real bad.
Yeah,
real bad.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and football. I'm not. I can watch football, and the Super Bowl, but not.
Well, Jerry Ann just checked Tim off of a whole lot of lists just right now.
Right. Oh, man. Oh, pot roast. Pork chops. He's trying to redeem himself now. He's like, wait, I love pork chops and I love pot roast.
We can't be friends any longer. I knew it.
Oh no. You guys are hilarious.
Done.
Yeah. Back to mindset, Jerry Ann brings us back to, it's a habitual way of approaching life.
This is why I hang out with Jerry Ann, because things can go way off track, but she always has a way of bringing it all back in again. Like, yes,
reeling us back in. Exactly.
It is a habitual way of life. It is.
You have to make it that way. It's like a choice. You have to make it that way. And so how do you help your clients? Like tell us about one of your, we're going to talk about two, but start with one of a successful client and kind of what things that they did to make them successful.
All right. So in the current life, my experience is with communities, right? So when you're running a busy business and then you start to build a community, one of the things that one of my clients is finding that it's hard to let go of the community to continue to do what it is that you need to do, which is whatever your business was essentially started for. And it gets really heavy thinking about the whole community thing. How am I going to let go of what I've started, and how will it maintain? So one of the fun things that I've been able to do is help them to realize that being partnered with somebody who can maintain the culture or even create the culture within the community so that it can be a fun place to be, then the business owner is able to play in the community, which I like to say play in the community because I think that's what makes it feel better. When you have something that you built, if you're playing in that, it always feels better than if you're working in that.
Definitely.
So it's like playing in your business. It's work, but if you see it as play, if you see it as an enjoyable place to be, the culture itself, of course, it depends on what the culture is. The ones that I work with are really heart-centered business owners who really want to connect. Obviously, the Lightened Up Entrepreneur, right? It's what we're looking to connect with, is the joy and the lighten side of things. There are people that are like, they run tech groups, they run tech businesses. They're probably not looking for me to get that feeling in their tech group, because those people want to talk about cables and wires, and it's like, that's not a lot of fun to me. But yeah,
if they had you,
I can probably change the whole culture of that community if they're looking for it. But
right.
Being able to actually be able to unplug for the weekend has been one of the things that has come back to me, that like, oh my gosh, it was so freeing to be able to feel really comfortable. And it isn't because of something that I'm doing. What it is shifting the culture in the community so that they are there for each other, right? Because we're like a family in the community at some point, right? And there for each other, so you can unplug and you can go do the things that refresh you. Because some of the things that one of the advices I give is to definitely unplug. And I can't advise a business owner or anybody, I should say, right, in my business, to unplug and go play if you still have that feeling of, oh my gosh, if I do, everything's going to fall apart when I walk away, right?
Yeah.
So being able to get out there and do the things, engage in what gives you joy. Because if what you're currently doing isn't where you're feeling the joy right now, you need to sit alone with that and think about what is it that does give you joy. Remember the feeling, and not just writing it down on paper, because that's the other exercise. And I'm giving away my tips here. Y'all, this is like giving away some good stuff. It isn't about this is, by the way, this is in the golden rules, but it isn't about writing it on the list and just saying, here's what gives me joy. If you're writing it and you are going to write this, if you're going to do the exercise, it's not typing it because you have to feel it hand to paper. What is it that gives you joy? And develop the thought of it, because what you're trying to do is tap into the feeling of what that is that gives you joy. So maybe it's your kids, but just writing my kids on a piece of paper isn't what gives you joy, right? Think about what it is about your children that gives you joy. Think about what it is when you're at the beach that gives you joy, or you're whatever you're doing that it is. Like, really tap into what about that experience is joy filled, because that's what you want to tap back into. That's the stuff that you want more of. That's the stuff that fueled you in the first place. And that's what's going to keep you on the positive side of things, because when you can feel that, like, you can tap into the feeling of the joy, that's the message. And that's where the conditioning comes in for the positivity, is when you can tap into how that feels, it's so much easier to slip into the feeling of that. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay.
And
it
makes me think of like, I've heard a statistic of someone saying, and I can't remember exactly who, but it's kind of like one of those general things you hear where, you know, you start your business because you love doing this like one thing that you really enjoy, and it's because you love helping people or topic, whatever it is. And then when you turn out to actually start a business out of it, you end up spending like 20% on that little thing that you started your business, and then 80% on all the other things that make the business run. So it's really important to connect back, because you're going to get distracted 80% of the time on all these other things that are going to cause you to be maybe not so joyful. And then you got to connect back to the 20% of, okay, these are the things that I really love doing. How can I do more of that? And how can I really connect to that reason that I started to begin with? And I just want to say that I'm watching the comments here, and that Jerry Ann and Tim are having a tumultuous friendship. And I think that they should both say why.
They can't be trusted, I tell you. They can't be trusted. Don't leave them alone with toys either.
Reconnect with each other's, the joy of why they became friends to begin with. Let's reconnect with that, because Jerry Ann says football and pasta give her joy. Those are good things to know.
Poor Tim. Tim, you've been cut out, man. It's over.
Oh, poor Tim. Tim brings me joy for sure. I love being on this show too.
Oh, I know, me too. It's like, oh boy.
It's too funny.
The whole thing is like, when your mind is amazing, right? Your mindset. We are hardwired to actually be drawn to negativity, and it's a weird thing, because you would think not. Like, you would think that you always want to go to the positive, but it's the whole rubbernecking thing when you're on the highway and there's an accident, right? Everybody wants to stop and go, ooh. And then when something bad happens, like, oh my gosh, what are the details? And you can go down that whole rabbit hole like this.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more work sometimes to pull yourself into the other side. They say, wait a minute, this is what happened. Well, where can I find the good stuff in it? But the magic is in writing those things that give you joy, but feeling what that means, okay? It puts it, it's almost like an exercise, right? You remember how good it feels. It's almost like childbirth. You forget how bad that feels. But it's kind of the same idea, right? You're like, you remember how good something feels, and you're like, you know what? I really like that feeling. And maybe that isn't the idea that you're switching to a positive thought process or joy isn't, I don't know, it's not right in your head that you know that that's what you're thinking. It just automatically is coming up like, I want what that feeling was. It's kind of like I want the feeling that I have when I'm eating a candy bar. With all the flavor of something. It's that kind of a thing. Like I just feel like I want that flavor. So yeah, you got to actively seek the joy through like inspiration. Oh, look at, why aren't you commenting today?
Sorry, I got
All right.
to.
So what he's talking about,
That was really funny.
I got bagged dual commenting, and I'm not going to do it anymore. All right, Tim?
Oh,
That was the old me. All right. Look.
the old you. Darn, I thought she was going to show up today. I think it's a little easier to comment when you're not actively engaged in the conversation, because you were doing it when she and Tim was talking. I saw that whole show. It was hysterical.
Well, there was 3 people going on, so
Yeah.
I was not always on the screen. Sometimes I'm not on the screen, so it's okay to say something, but it's just you and I and you and the audience. We're in a conversation. I don't need to be Tim.
You guys are so funny. Okay, so oh, this is joyful. This is a joyful show. Oh, someone's from Brazil.
These are my people. You are my people. If you're looking for ways to have fun, ways to just I don't know, to look for the light part of things, and I don't know. It's just fun for me. If it's fun for me to see in clients that I work with, it's fun for me to see them actually let go of something that I know was like an anchor. And it's not like you let it go like totally, right? Like, let's just forget I even do this anymore. Like it's like in a community situation, it's like your children. You're not just going to let go of your children because like your business is your baby in a sense, right? I'm not going to let go of my business, but to let go of it a little bit. And Amy, you must run into this with what you do, because they have to let go of some of the stuff, like the social media management of things can be super heavy for some people if that's not your skill set. But it doesn't mean you walk away from any involvement in it. It just means to be able to feel like the joy of like, it was okay, I let go and everything didn't fall apart. As a matter of fact, it kept on going. It was pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Amy, look at poor Tim. He's so remorseful.
Why?
I don't know that I feel it. I think it's fake. I don't think he's really remorseful.
I don't think he should be apologizing. This is absolutely so much fun. I want you to share another story with us.
Another story.
Client story.
You want? What was that?
Do you have it? Oh gosh. Do you have another client story and some tips to share with us?
I've got tips. I've got client story, and I should.
It's already 10 o'clock.
I thought you're going to look at your
time's
comment.
up. Bye, Tim. Just kidding.
That's what I was going to remind you. I've got stuff, but I don't know.
I usually am staring at the clock going, I don't want to go past 10 o'clock, but I will go past 10 o'clock because I want to hear another story if you have time.
Yay! Da, da, da. It's like, this is like the bonus round. Da, 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 da. It's like
encore.
So, for another example of being able to step in and help somebody out with reconnected to their joy. Another one is to be able to. It goes back to that culture thing, all right? So when you don't even know that you're rubbing off on your business, you don't even know that what's going on is one person that I was working with didn't even realize, and she was a trainer actually, and didn't realize that her inability to connect with her joy was making her clients in the gym feel uncomfortable. And how does that even work, right? Because I have a wedgie theory. It's called the wedgie theory, okay? You put that on out there if you want.
Got it. Okay.
Here, this is for Tim. It's the wedgie theory.
Hold on.
And what that is,
we're gonna put that up there.
What that is like you're talking with somebody and you have a wedgie. The person you're talking to doesn't exactly know that you have the wedgie, but you're talking and you got this kind of like a thing going on. Yes, I give them a break while they're continuing their cultures. Jerry wants me to know that clearly because she did talk to me prior to this. But that whole wedgie feeling. There's something not right. I don't know why I don't feel comfortable with you. Something doesn't feel right, but it's because your head's someplace about the heaviness of your business, the whatever you're doing is weighing on you. But your client, your customers aren't sure why you have a funny feeling. They're like, I don't know what's not feeling right. Something doesn't feel right, and that's what it is. It's because you're not able to let go of certain things that are making you tying up your energy someplace else. And Jerry Ann wants me to shout that part out really loud, but yes, in the community management world, which is where I've been spending my time these days, in a whole new world of community management, as defined by me, if you ask me, it's giving business owners a break, right? While I can continue their culture, because you work really hard to create your culture. You work really hard to get your community together. Because 5 years ago, when we created communities, you remember this? People just dropped you in a group and there you are. Because you liked something, they're like, oh, good, you're in my group. I'm like, who is this? And why am I here? And we've evolved. Thank God. We've evolved to where we want to be a part of a group, right? And so it's hard to continue your business and maintain the culture in your community, or even if you didn't even know you don't have one, right? Being able to build it. So I've been able to build and maintain a culture within a community so that the owner is able to step away for a little bit, like I said, to do those things like what gives you inspiration, right? Meditation, prayer, I don't know, adult coloring books, going for a walk in nature. Sometimes doing those things will free your mind up. It'll free you to connect with what feels really good and light. And when I can hear back from an owner, oh my gosh, this was the best weekend ever. I got to just disconnect and go play with my daughter. That's awesome. And knowing that the owner stepped away and the culture of the community didn't take a nosedive. All the work that you put in didn't just go down the tubes.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, the energy you're talking about is really important, because that, I think that's why I'm very passionate about being positive, is because I know that positivity naturally will convey just that energy, that it's just, you're next to someone, you're near someone, and you have that joy that's going to convey. But the opposite of that happens as well, just like your client experience. She was down and out, and that feeling conveys as well. So
even if you try to fake it, because the fake it till you make it thing, if you try to fake that you're having a good time,
yeah,
I'm telling you, that's what the trainer that I was working with had the problem with. Thought that they were faking it really well. Client was thinking, something feels funny. And it isn't until I have a conversation with the client, in casual conversation, do I uncover the situation. Like, you know what? You're not having enough fun, and it's translating. So
yes.
Yeah, energy transfers, my friends.
It definitely does. It definitely does. My guest that I had in March, she you might know her, Jennifer Deepstratton. She's a high ticket sales coach, and she helps entrepreneurs connect to their value and make sure that they're selling the value of their service. They're communicating that. And she has a saying that I love, that the more fun you have, the more money you make. And I always love that, because it's not always, and she talks about this too, it's not always about it's not about the money, it's about the transformation. It's about the before and after, how you can help other people get to the place that they need to be, get to the place where they need to be joyful in their mindset, get to the place they need to be feeling differently about their life to be able to move forward. And that's why I love coaches so much, because they're so passionate about helping other people experience what, using their education and their expertise and their experience to help other people. That's why I'm so passionate about coaches, life coaches, business coaches. I could geek out on mindset all day long. I wish we had all day, not today on this live show, but in other experiences and conversations on online. What does Tim say? Oh, I was on your show.
See?
He was tired, but I brought the positivity and the energy, and I was late too. We were on at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. I was like, yeah, that's just how
sometimes it's everything though, right? It really is. It's funny. Jerry Ann had just said that to me. Jerry Ann just told me it's not always about the numbers, right? Because sometimes we look and we think transformation is supposed to be something about revenue and numbers, but really, it all translates, right? When you're joyful and happy in what you're doing. And Jennifer D. Stratton is a perfect example of what her message is. It shows it, and it will pay. It will pay in so many ways. It pays in your mental health, so you don't just crack. Because doing something purely for the money,
no.
For me and the clients that I work with, that's not what it's about. It's so much of a deeper heart-centered reason, like you said, to help people and to see things that are making things better for other people.
Right.
Then it's not about the money. The money follows that, though.
Right, right. It's definitely, why reconnecting with the joy that you started your business to begin with. I guarantee for 99% of us was not because of to make a business and to make money. It's to help people. How can I solve a problem? How can I help somebody do something that I know really well, that they can then translate that to someone else to help them be less stressed about their business, or be more joyful in their life, or be more joyful about their business, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Tim does, helping people go on live video. How can they? That's a huge problem that people have. They know they need to be on video and they can't do it. So how do you do that? You connect with someone that can help you. So Tim does that. Jerry Ann, helps build communities, and Military Mama Network helps military moms all across the world. And that was her passion, because that's what she experienced, wanting to connect with other moms, military moms. And now she's build this gigantic community. So it wasn't because, I want to build this gigantic business. Yeah, it's because, you want to help people. And that's ultimately, how we're all connected, is the helpful nature that we have, and using our knowledge and expertise to translate.
When you're having fun, right? When you're having fun, it's just like when we started with this. You said, I don't want to go past 10, right? When you're having fun, when things are feeling really good, it takes off. It has its own momentum of its own self. It doesn't drag on. It doesn't drone on. And that's exactly what it is in the business world. Like, when you're doing something you enjoy, and all those names you just mentioned are exactly that. Doing what it is you enjoy will translate, as long as you can keep tapped into what makes you joyful about it. So you have to have those things in place, so that you can remember, why do I need to have someone like Amy doing my social media? Because I need to tap into my joy, which is sitting over here on hold. I want this feeling again. Why do I need to work with Nancy? Because I can't let go of my community. I don't even know what a culture in a community is. I need somebody to do that, so I can be where it makes me happy to be, and Jerry Ann's groups took off. The Military Mama took off because it was a passion of hers. It was a joy of hers that this is something that needs to happen, and you just run with it. It's unlike pasta, something that gives you joy. It just is unstoppable sometimes.
Exactly. And that's what's going to continue the momentum of any business or any venture that you start, is remembering why you started it to begin with, and just being able to stay in that positive mindset, get yourself back in that positive mindset. So I would love anybody here watching still, as we're over our 30 minutes of time, we still want to hear from you. If you know, what are your tricks to snap yourself into that positive mindset to keep yourself going? I'd love to hear your feedback too. And I love the tips that you shared as well, Nancy. This is just such a joy to have you. I was so excited when you said yes to being a guest on my show. This is so much fun. So I know that I like to share how the coaches that I bring on use social media to grow and to stay connected with their business. So what are your favorite ways to do that?
One of my favorite ways to grow?
To connect on social media and to grow your business through using social media. That's what we're all about here.
Well, in summary, I love Facebook, the platform for Facebook. Honestly, it got a bad rap when it got a bad rap. I don't know why. And I thought, why was everybody bashing it? And then, I don't know. There's some great relationships are here. And I've got a group that I have every morning, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Was what we did during the whole, when we all were physically distancing. So just setting up something that we could just pop in and pop out for a virtual coffee, have a chat. Jerry Ann's in there often, and Tim. But, those are one of the tools that I use. The other ones is connecting with really great coaches, that are out there that know, they walk the walk, and they don't just talk it, right? They know what you're going through. They know where you've been. And being able to allow yourself to be coached, right? Allow yourself to enjoy things, like I said, to connect to your joy, you have to let go of some things sometimes, and you have to be able to do that. And so circles, mastermind groups that I've been a part of have been immensely helpful because there's things that we all don't see our own blind spots. I know,
Yep.
Shocker. I have a blind spot or two.
I relate coaches to a GPS navigation system in your car back when we had those. I mean, you can use it on your phone, but if you don't have something to tell you where to go, like you can get, from point A to point B, eventually you're going to get there. But if you have a GPS in your car or on your phone, whatever, that's going to tell you exactly where to go and how to get there, then you're going to get there a lot faster, and it's going to be a lot less stressful, and you're going to not run out of gas getting lost.
And being all stressed about it. I remember thinking that I remember thinking you were supposed to have a coach.
Yeah.
A coach. And then I was like, so wait a minute, I think I need a different kind of coach. And like, well, yeah. And then I talked to people who were successful. They had more than one coach. I thought, what?
I know.
What?
That's crazy.
I thought it was like a marriage. I thought you had like one person. You're like, that's. And I remember thinking that, and it's been connecting with the right kind of coaches and mentors and leaders has been so beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I love the coaching industry in general, especially I can geek out on personal development and business development and all this stuff all day long. So luckily I get to do that every Tuesday when I bring awesome guests like you onto our show. I consider Tim and Jerry, we're all together.
It's our show. Welcome to our show.
It's all together. We're all one big happy family. So I'm really glad that you were here today and sharing all your
graphic, by the way.
Tips and tricks. Oh, thanks.
It's like I'm speaking into it.
Exactly. You did it the right way too.
I know.
Where am I going?
It takes practice, Amy. It's like capitalize social media.
This is you. This is us. Yay. Cool. Well, next week, like I said, we have Betsy Clark. She is a phenomenal mindset coach. I can't talk today. It's all that Tim talking about sound effects. I'm trying to make my own sound effects. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to talk this whole month about mindset and different experts and tricks that they use to help stay in a positive mindset during this crazy time. So crazy, but I'm so glad that we got in touch and connected and became friends. And thank you for everyone that showed up today. We are so happy to have you, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.